Okay, welcome back to Aces Full of Queens. We are here. We are back. It's been a few weeks, but life be
Had to get that
happening.
traveling in. Had to
That's right.
handle some things.
I'm one of your hosts, Crystal,
I'm Anthony.
and we're here to do a little bit of a recap since we haven't done a show in about 3 weeks. Um, there's just been a lot going on in the W, just in general in Vegas. So we're gonna get right into it. So it's been a lot of wins and losses. I think the last time we talked, it was the Commissioner's Cup, and that was, it
I,
wasn't
I don't
great.
I don't really like talking about it, but we'll talk about it.
Um, you know, it wasn't a great game. It wasn't a fun game to watch. I always like it to at least feel like a close score, a good matchup. But I don't think we brought our A game. I don't think we were. I don't think we're where we needed to be. Um, wasn't a celebration before that I know of, but I
Yeah,
think we were just tired.
yeah. I think we got to go back though, just to it's been 3 weeks, so just to remember where we were
Yeah,
on June 30th. So Asia was out with an injury, and so that changes the entire complexion of this team. Their ability to be able to compete, especially with a team like the New York Liberty, is really impacted when that happens. Now they came out and Commissioner's Cup, I think Jackie Young had 31 points. She also had 7 assists. She was all over the place, doing a lot of things, but it just wasn't enough for an opponent like the New York Liberty. So I think that's a thing to keep in mind. And then just a few days later, they played the Chicago Sky
mm,
um, here in Vegas, and that's another game that Asia missed, and the Sky were able to push them to overtime. They ended up coming out of that one winning
right.
98-90. Huge Melissa Smith game, 29 points, 8 rebounds. Really, really stepping up for the team in that moment. But I think that after that, or even starting with the Commissioner's Cup, we start seeing a little bit of this inconsistency with Asia out. But then,
Right.
because right after the Chicago game, the Indiana Fever came to town here in Vegas. Big game over at T-Mobile Arena, and the squad was never really in it. They end up losing that game 84-68, and I think from probably about midway through the second quarter, you could see kind of where this game was going. Jackie Young had 15 points in that game. Melissa Smith recorded 10 rebounds, and Chelsea Gray was doing her assist thing, but it just wasn't enough to really get past the Fever in that moment. Uh, and then another couple of days off, and then they went up to Portland, and Asia came back, and it immediately seemed like the ship was righted. She comes in, she has 32 points, she has 10 rebounds. Jackie had 11 assists in that game. I think that's also the game where Jackie had 11 assists, and I want to say that Chelsea had 9 assists or 8 assists or something like that in that game. And so she had 7 assists to go with
Okay.
Jackie's 11 assists. And so that's just a lot of production
Yeah.
from the guards in that game. And then they came back here, and it looked like everything was going to be everything. Like everything was right. It was Kids Day at the Michelob Ultra Arena back at the house. Got that merch, the Elmo
Hey.
bucket, um, and it was Kids Day, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
The Mercury came to town, and we've joked a bunch of times on the podcast so much so far this year that one thing the Aces are going to do a lot of times, they're going to get their lick back. And so you go back to the first game of the season, and the Mercury beat the Aces 99-66, 33-point win.
Was
And
that the ring night?
so that was ring night
Ah.
over at T-Mobile Arena that you're still mad about. We all know about that. Like you didn't like ring night, you didn't like banner night. The Aces might have lost the Commissioner's Cup, so they didn't have to hear you yell at them about another banner celebration.
Exactly, because I know
Um,
they listening.
So they lose by 33 points on the first game of the season, but they come back and they play on July 11th back here at the house,
Mhm.
106 to 58. Um,
Blowout.
48-point win. And the vibes, as they say, were high in
Hi.
Michelob Ultra Arena. And so I think that one of the things that's the most jarring as we like talk about that game into the next game is the swing. I think ESPN had a thing that said they beat Phoenix by 48 points, and
Mhm.
then they came out and lost to the Fever 109 to
Right.
75.
Right.
And that's that 82-point turnaround is the largest point differential from one game to the next in WNBA history.
Whoa! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that
so
was pretty stunning. If I'm being honest, as a fan, and
So, listen, they were back to backs. So I was there on Saturday. The
that's
vibes
good.
were here. I was there on Sunday, and there were no vibes.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I
So
think
then
we
this
can.
goes right back. This goes back to my point. This goes back to my theory. Too much celebration. Now, if you have a celebration the night before, what are you doing? You going
Well, they
crazy? You're
listen.
having a good
They
time.
they knew that they had back to backs. They knew the next game were coming. They knew the Fever were coming back. I don't think they were out there partying and celebrating.
Okay.
Partying and celebrating. Like you were the one that was at She Weekend last night. And so you're gonna
Confusing.
update us on that. You're gonna update us on that
I love it.
because celebration is due, but
Yeah,
um,
you're right.
blow out the Mercury, get blown out by the Fever. I'd really
So
like
then
to
what are you
like
attributing it to? You're just saying they were tired, they were overexhausted. Because this should have been them
um
getting their lick back, because right? Because we lost to the Fever.
right, they should have been getting their lick back. I think that if you watch Becky Hammond's post game conference, she
Mhm.
talks about this a little bit, and I think she said it was an effort thing. I didn't really pick up on that from the stands. I did pick up on a like confusion about assignments. There was a number of times you were there. We were both there at the game together
Yeah.
with my girlfriend, and um, multiple times during the game, I was talking about why are three players in the same part of the court. And so like you would have somebody would have the ball, and then say Chelsea had the ball, you would have Jackie, Jewel, and Melissa like kind of all in the same area. And so what Becky said in her post game conference is that body movement, like moving the player, leads to ball movement. And so one of the things that the Aces have been really good about this season is ball movement, making the extra pass so somebody gets a better shot. They did that really, really well on Saturday night against the Mercury. On Sunday
Mhm.
night, they didn't do it as well. They were standing around, they weren't moving, and I think that you saw that like as a result. And I think there might have become a point in the game where they were just like, "This has gotten away from us." Because the thing that really needs to be said there is that they were struggling offensively, but the Fever were kind of on fire in that game.
On fire. I
If
mean,
you
every
really,
bucket was
yeah,
going in.
it seemed like they couldn't miss a shot.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something to really, really take into account when like thinking about this game. I'm trying to pull up the stats here. Um,
Yeah, because it felt like
the
that game was like the first the first quarter was pretty matched up to me, between the two teams, and then we slid underneath score wise in the second quarter, and then came back in the third, and it felt like we were gaining, and we actually got ahead of them, and then it
we
all
ca-
fell.
we got really close. I think they got within 4 points. They never actually
Oh, okay,
took the
there you go.
lead back. So I'm looking at the breakdown, and first quarter ended 31 Fever, 22 Aces. Second quarter, the Fever scored 28 points and the Aces scored 26 points. So that was the closest quarter.
Okay.
And then in the third quarter, the Fever scored 21 points, Aces scored 16 points. And
Mm,
then the fourth quarter was just like an 18-point differential. But looking at the stats here, the Fever shot 56% from the field to the Aces 39%. And maybe more importantly, they doubled the Aces from 3-point range. The Fever shot 48% from three, and the Aces shot 24% from three. And so when you're looking at this game and trying to kind of figure out, well, what happened to our girls in this game
Mhm.
is, Sophie Cunningham had 20 points coming off the bench for the Aces. I mean, for the Fever. And
Yeah.
so that's not something that you're normally anticipating. And so I think there's a lot of things that go into that. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that they had 8 days off after that. And so their next game, um, let me pull the schedule back up. I had it up and then I lost it here. Their next game is on Monday
Mhm.
against the Tempo. And so I feel bad for the Tempo with the Aces coming off a loss like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, coming off a loss like that with 8 days rest coming to visit them. That's just not the that's not the type of situation that you really want to be in if you're the Tempo. And so I have like a good level of faith that they're going to come and they're going to bring it. The last thing that I'll say, kind of related to this, before we go any further, is that this is not the first time the Aces have gotten blown out. You go back to August 2nd last year, the Minnesota Lynx came to town and they beat the Aces 111-58. They beat them down.
Whoa.
Um,
Okay.
I missed that game. We had tickets and I had something I ended up having to do, so I didn't get to go. And I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't go to that game. I'd have just been sitting there
Yeah.
mad. But after that, the Aces won every single game the remainder of the regular season. Now, obviously, this season's different, a lot of different factors. It's much earlier in the season. Like this game that they just lost was on July 11th. The All Star break is coming up, all of that kind of stuff. So, like, are they going to go undefeated the rest of the season? I don't know, but I do know that this is a team that's got a lot of veteran leadership on the team, and they take these things personally. They don't want to come out and get beat like that. And so, my expectation would be that they're going to come back and they might go up to Toronto and beat the Tempo so badly they can't go back to Canada again.
Oh, damn. I mean, listen, I don't have expectations. Our girls are nice. They might beat you, but they'll be nice about it. Okay. I feel like that last game, well, Jewel was throwing them up there, and I'll be honest, I don't know why. Like, nobody was going to the hoop. That's why I kept saying the whole game was take it to the hoop, take it to the hoop. I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on where this is kind of maybe, well, maybe not fully all over the W, but there's a lot of 3-point shots happening, and I really appreciate it because they're beautiful, they look good, but we gotta take it to the hoop because we gotta. I mean, fundamentals are necessary. Layup, hit it. I know what's happening is people don't want to get hit, people don't want to go through the fouls, and it slows the game down, and I get it. But fundamentals,
Yeah.
I feel are necessary even when you're at the top of your game because we keep kind of going back and forth between first place, second place, and Minnesota is obviously killing it. Like that's on them. But um the fundamentals and Nalissa Smith been killing it. I mean, most improved player of the season of the W, in my opinion.
I think she's
Um,
gonna lose it, but she's definitely in that conversation.
Really? I mean, I feel like she really has improved vastly, even just from the first game. And
Yeah.
so I just feel like we're in a good position most of the time, but
Well, I
fundamentals,
think
like
that you
let's
you
not
were saying this
break
over and over
500.
again during the game. You were saying it repeatedly. Why won't
Yeah.
somebody drive to the hoop? Why won't somebody drive to the hoop? And I think that's really important, especially against a team like the Fever. So the Fever have been making a lot of their a lot of their improvement this year. And their ability to stay in games, I think, is attributable to Aaliyah Boston.
Hmm.
Aaliyah Boston's having a great season. She played really well in the one-on-one matchup against Asia in that game, and she's voted an All-Star. All of that. She's also spent a number of games this season in foul trouble. And
Mm.
so, if you drive to the basket, you put her in a position where she has to make a decision about whether she wants to try to block the shot, how she wants to defend it. Maybe you get a whistle or two that break your way, and now Aaliyah Boston sitting on the bench. She had 19 points in 29 minutes. And so, like, if you cut her minutes down from 29 to 20, how many points would she have had? She had 19 points, 11 rebounds. She had, a block shot, 3 steals. And so, like, going to the basket, yeah, nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to get hit. Like, that's all understandable. But put the pressure on the defense to have to like make those kind of calls and how they're defending you. And sometimes you get the whistles, and that changes the dynamic of the game
Right.
because if you get her in foul trouble or Monique Billings in foul trouble, that's points and rebounds that are coming off the board. Then you have to bring in like backup players who aren't as adept at being able to do these things,
Mm,
and it puts you in a better position to get matchups that are advantageous.
agreed. Okay, so Monday we'll see what's happening. I'm on board with you in the idea that they probably going to come out, you know, blazing, but we'll see. Um, as far as the recap, we did lose our girl Kennedy Carter, and the internet was a buzz, and we were all trying to figure out why. And Becky Hammond ain't say nothing, and pretty much
I'm
nobody
not
said
gonna.
anything, including
I'm not
Kennedy.
going to talk. I'm not going to talk about players who aren't here any longer. I think was
That's all
the
she said.
the company
That
line.
was the quote. And I can respect it. As a reporter, I'm a little more like, you should have nudged a little bit more, um but respect. You don't want to create a riff or anything with the press.
Yeah,
But why, oh why did this happen? Now her contract was up. I guess it was just like a, what do you call it? Like temporary, not temporary. Anyway,
I thought she was signed for
it
the
was like a,
season. So if she was on some kind of temporary contract, that's news to
yeah, and they
me.
said it from the beginning. So
Yeah.
we all knew that, but obviously we felt like, she was putting up pretty good points off the bench while she was healthy. And so we
Hmm.
pretty much figured like, she's going to stay. She's a popular player. But things were going down in that locker room, baby. And I don't know, but that's been the pattern thus far with Kennedy coming into the Aces. And we were kind of hoping that would kind of all fall by the wayside, or maybe some maturity had happened, but we're just not sure. So for
Yeah.
now, she's gone.
Yeah, I don't think that like obviously we don't know what happened. She showed flashes of brilliance. That's Kennedy Carter. She has the ability to play basketball at such a high level. But it's all the other stuff, the in the locker room stuff, all this other stuff that's followed her around for her career. And like the hope was that she would come to a team that's as established and mature and professional as the Aces, and that would rub off on her and end up helping. I think that there was like signs like earlier in the season, the Aces played the was it the Wings,
Hmm.
and after that game, Kennedy Carter came out and said something about AZ Fudd on the internet, and then
Ooh.
somebody was kind of like, Kennedy, why don't you like mind your business and pay attention to your game? And I think Asia like liked whatever message that was, and so
Mm.
it's a sad thing to see. She like I say, had some great games, some flashes of brilliance. I think that I trust a coach like Becky Hammond to know what's good and what's not good for her locker room.
For sure.
And so I'm not going to second guess it. I hope that for Kennedy, I hope she gets another opportunity, and I hope that opportunity is someplace where she can really thrive. And just hope she doesn't blow up on the Aces too much if that happens, and when they meet.
Yeah, there was like unfollowing going on, a lot of internet stuff, like she unfollowed the Aces, she took them off her page. It's like, I almost want to make the suggestion of maybe we just like, maybe when you're a professional athlete, you just shouldn't have social media to a certain extent, or shouldn't go on it after a certain hour. I don't know what kind of guardrails you could even put on, humans and individuals. I mean, everybody's going to have their opinion. Um, but like a certain boyfriend of a certain brilliant WNBA player, you know, when you get involved with things on the internet, it's just never going to end well. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Um,
Yeah, I think that you're showing our age here, and yelling at the kids about their internet usage. Yeah, the social media thing, I don't really get it, but you're not going to be able to get people completely away from it, and so
right.
you just got to teach them and hope that they learn to use it use it wisely. I will say that the former quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, who I probably butchered that, but he plays for the Falcons now. But
Mm.
he famously last year was talking about how he was off social media, and it seemed like him being off social media like made him very like unaware of like
Yeah,
things
and
that were
that's the
going on in the
other.
world. And so then he
Yeah,
was just saying like he was saying stuff, and so there were some jokes that maybe he needs to be on social media so he can like get some feedback about his game.
and that's what it
And so
is.
I say that a little tongue in cheek, but yeah, the kids got to figure out what they're doing on the internet.
I think it's just
The
a matter of
TikTok.
training, like media training. You train these people to be in front of cameras, to talk to
Hmm.
the press. There just needs to be another social media training. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk. Don't talk too much. Let's look. Don't
Chris,
look too much. Something.
Chris, we got to get you. We got to get you in the door. Why can't you be doing that?
I know, honestly, for real, because it really is not that difficult. But if you get your emotions involved, like you're gonna lose every time. Every time. But Kennedy was replaced with Justine Pissot, who had a
Hmm.
great first game. She came out the gate with the 3 pointers. What she have, like five out the gate?
Yeah,
First game?
she came off the bench. So this was in the game against the Mercury, and so it was a blowout. And so she got 10 minutes of playing time in that game and ended up having 17 points. That's yeah. She was 5 for 6 from 3-pointer. Had 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Um, yeah, you can't say anything. You can't say anything bad about that. It was a great first way to come off the bench. I think there was a thing. She's the first WNBA player to make 5 3-pointers in her debut,
Wow.
which not a lot of players make 5 3-pointers. So
Right,
I don't find that hard to believe.
right.
But yeah, it was
So
a
great
blowout
first
win.
impressions. Great
Yeah,
first impressions. Now, second impressions, I don't know. The second game wasn't
yeah.
so great for her, but she wasn't out there as long either.
She wasn't out there. Well, so she ended up playing more minutes in that game. She had 14
Oh,
minutes in the game against the Fever. 2 points. She was 1 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3-pointer.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but she's also playing against the team that she just came from. So she never played any
Oh,
minutes for the Indiana Fever. She was there and she was on a developmental contract, I think. And so she never actually took the floor for them. But the people she was practicing with and doing all that stuff up until coming to the Aces is who she was playing against in her second game. And so, one, nobody on the Aces played well, really, in the game against the Fever. Asia had 20 points, 12 rebounds, and other than that,
it wasn't
it,
great.
it wasn't a great performance from anybody. So then to put this on Justine, you can't do that. The other exciting thing that happened in that game, and we skipped it. I went right over it, but we got to
Mm.
talk about Dana Evans. Dana Evans came back
Yes, Dana Evans
at
came
18 minutes
back.
had 18 minutes in her first game of the season. So I think that we're starting to, see like obviously like Dana came back in a game that ended up being a blowout loss. It's not great,
Yeah,
um,
right.
but reinforcements are
We're
here,
glad she's back.
and so yeah,
Yeah.
we're happy she's back, and so um, I'm sure that will ultimately be a benefit for the Aces for the rest of the season.
Now I will say, I know this is a game about the Aces, but sometimes we talk about the competition. Maybe good, maybe bad. But this Indiana Fever game,
Hmm.
there was a moment with the Caitlin Clark person who there was a flop. I don't know what happened. We were
It
all
was
watching
acting. It was acting. The Academy Award.
at its lowest bar. Okay. Um, I don't. I'm worried. I'm worried for her. I'm worried about the mental. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I know there's people out here writing letters to Congress and stuff for her, but we can't be out here just straight up, uh I mean, acting is a stretch. Like this was just straight up. This was like a cartoon. I mean, I don't know what this was. But let me just say, Caitlin, get it together. That's all I'm gonna say. Caitlin, get it together. You don't need to do these things in order to win. I don't even actually think that was a great game for Caitlin. It was a great game for Sophie. And a great game for Indiana Fever
Chelsea
overall.
Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah, but I really,
She had
Caitlin,
12
like,
points
get
and
it
6
together.
assists. Yeah, she had 12.6 assists. Um, yeah, I don't like to get into the whole Caitlin Clark thing. One, I think it's too easy to
It's
like. That's
very
what everybody's talking. Like, if you want to hear about Caitlin Clark, there's a lot of places you can go and hear about Caitlin Clark.
that's right.
I think that was some pretty bad acting. But overall, I think that at the end of the day, say what you want to about Caitlin Clark. She's in the game she's playing. She's averaging 19.7 points, 7.7 assists per game. Yeah, her 3-point percentage is down. She's a quality point guard in the WNBA. Is she the greatest player of all time? No, the greatest player of all time plays for the Aces. Where's number 22? Her name's Asia Wilson.
Thank you.
But Caitlin Clark's also in her third season, you know what I'm saying? And she spent most of last season injured. And so she's learning. I think that it's really important to be able to have the conversation about her without getting into all the stuff that comes with her. Not with her, but like that all these other things that people are putting on her. I think
Right.
Adam Silver was asked about this and he said she's become a political football. And I think that's 100% the case. You got people in Congress writing letters and
That's
all that kind
unfortunate.
of stuff. And I think that if you were to really sit down and ask her, she would probably just be like, "I just want to hoop," And so,
Yeah.
yeah, let her hoop. Caitlin, stop acting. Stop
Just hoop,
like
Caitlin.
be a hooper,
I'm here
not
to
an
watch
actor.
you hoop. That's it. I'm here for
but,
it. I'm here for it.
but
I don't
it's
need
not the
nothing else though. The
it's
antics,
not
we
the
got it.
it's not the worst acting performance of the W season by far. It's not even the worst on her team. Like Monique Billings had some acting in a game earlier this season. That's she thought she was Meryl Streep.
Okay, all right.
And
Meryl, all right. Meryl Billy. Stop.
I'll find the video. Maybe we'll link it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, guys, this is a contact sport. So let's just play the game, make the calls, refs, and let the points be what they're gonna be. All right, moving on. Asia returned, the prodigal daughter. Thank God. She came back. We talked about that. She kind of broke. Did she break a record when she came back?
She breaks records all the time.
I know. I feel like something happened. I don't know. She was gone.
You have to be more specific.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's too many. I'll be honest. So let's talk about this all-star choices or lack thereof. So Jackie,
get me started.
Yeah. And Asia both were chosen for the all-star game. And Chelsea was not chosen. I mean, there were a lot of people. There was a whole list of people who weren't chosen that it was like, why? How come? What the hell? But Anthony had a little sad beef over this one.
It's indefensible. Like, I don't understand. So first of all, I do understand. It's a popularity contest.
Okay.
But Chelsea Gray's averaging over 12 points a game. She's averaging over 7 assists per game. She broke a WNBA record for most 3-pointers in a game this season. She's Chelsea Gray. She's the point guard, like a human highlight reel. We see it every time that we're at the stadium. And so, like, when I saw the results, I know that I'm a homer. Like, I want the Aces to be the end all be all and all of these things. But to me, it's an outrage. I feel like I could go on a Stephen A. Smith rant here about it being a travesty and all of this kind of stuff, but I'm not going to do that.
All right.
Because I think just saying the word once is enough. But Chelsea Gray, if Chelsea Gray is not an all-star, the all-star, like the all-star name doesn't mean anything, in my opinion.
I'm with you, cousin. I don't understand what's happening out here. They're a 3-headed monster, not a 2-headed, and so I don't know. And I find it strange. I mean, if it is a popularity contest, I do find it strange that she wouldn't be on there because I feel like Chelsea Gray is very popular. She is the point guard, but even outside of that, just in general, like her and Asia, they always are in their little pressers together, and it's just fun, and it's always good vibes.
Unserious.
Yeah, it's always unserious, and then her and Jackie will be in them together, and which is also,
Hmm.
so I feel like she's like a really hardy glue to this team, and it wouldn't be a great team without her. So I'm with
Yeah.
you. Like let's storm the
Listen,
Capitol.
listen. I'm going to Chicago for the game. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna
Oh,
talk to
okay.
some people.
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
if
Let's
anybody's
storm
gonna
the
listen.
Capitol. Like let's do it. Do it
I'm
for
gonna talk to some
Chelsea.
people. I don't know that they're gonna listen.
Yeah.
But if we
No,
could
put
talk
it out
about these, if we could talk about these All-Star rosters though for a second,
there. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like Team Spoon, Teresa Witherspoon's team, is significantly. How do I want to put this? I think Team Spoon's got some killers on it, and I don't
Mm,
know that the Team Coop, Cynthia Cooper's team, can really compete with them. So, starting five. You ready for the starters for both teams?
okay.
Team Spoon: Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, Olivia Miles, Aaliyah Boston, Jessica Shepard.
Okay.
Team
Okay.
Coop: Paige Buckers, Brianna Stewart, Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard, Gabby Williams.
Mm,
Okay, that's a good team. You know what I'm saying? But then
yeah.
you start getting into the reserves, and you got Ryan Howard from the Atlanta Dream on Team Spoon, Angel Reese from the Dream on Team Coop. You got Jonquel Jones from the Liberty, Team Spoon, Dominique Malanga from the Storm, Team Coop.
Oh.
Courtney Williams from the Lynx, Team Spoon, Kelsey Plum from the Sparks, Team Coop. Kiki Ariafin from the Mystics, Team Spoon, Jackie Young, Team Coop. Neka Gumake from the Sparks, Team Spoon. Sonia Citron from the Mystics, Team Coop. Team
Ooh-wee.
Team Spoon. I don't know. I just look at this and I'm like, there. Oh, I think I skipped Alicia Gray is on Team Spoon and Marina Mayberry is
Okay.
on Team Coop. But this team, like I looked at this lineup and I was like, man, you got Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, Olivia Miles, Aaliyah Boston, and Jessica Shepard on the court at the same time. That's a problem. You got Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard and John Paul Jones. Like it's an all-star team, but I don't know. The other wrinkle
Mm.
here is Asia said she wanted to be on Becky's team because the coaches ended up being Cheryl Reeves from the Lynx and Becky from the
Oh,
Aces. But
okay.
Asia's on Cheryl Reeves' team, and Jackie's on Team Coop with Becky.
I'm gonna just say Team Spoon. I mean, you got Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, and Olivia Miles. That's just crazy.
That's crazy. Like,
That's
yeah,
crazy. Um,
Paige,
yeah.
Brianna, Kelsey. I'm not trying to down talk Team Coop or anything like that. All of these people are
No,
obviously
no,
all
no.
stars. They're all great players, but like, I just can't wait for the first pick and roll that I see from Olivia Miles to Asia Wilson. Like
Ooh, that's gonna be
that's
nice.
what I'm there for. Um,
Okay. Okay, so you're gonna be in the building. So okay, I'm jealous. That's fine. So there were also some upsetting Chelsea Gray news. There were some threats she was receiving online, and luckily, the person who was perpetuating the threats has been let go of their job. I don't know if any other issues have come to play for them. I mean, online cyberbullying and threatening should be illegal. I mean, I think threats are illegal in general. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's what I
charges.
was going to say. I think it's more harassment than threats. This is
Okay,
like
okay, harassment.
I'm not going to do my whole lawyer thing, but it's obviously like extremely disappointing. The There's got to be something done about the harassment that the players are receiving. Like that's
Yeah.
just crazy. And like this is all of the players. This is not just like Chelsea Gray.
Right.
This is not just, um, Caitlin Clark. Like,
Right.
let's grow up, people. We don't need to be doing all of that. But yeah, this incident happened. Chelsea posted it on her social media, and so people found out about it. And then the guy who did whatever, they found where he like his job saw it and was like, "Hey, we don't do that here." And so he got the step into my office speech.
The heave
Um,
ho.
the heave ho.
That's the old heave ho.
So yeah, I think it's really unfortunate. There's definitely got to be something done about it. I think the Players Association is supposed to be meeting with the league to talk about ways to address this. Um, because yeah, it's all fun and games to come in here and talk about the games and how teams are performing and are the aces going to repeat and all that. Like we love that. We want to have that conversation, but people have got to be safe. Like there's like 100% instances in sports in Hollywood of people of this stuff like escalating, and we don't want to have anything like that happen. So
Right. And at the end of the day, yes, we are equal, but these are women. And women women are constant targets just in general. We have to protect ourselves. We have to be very mindful of our surroundings and the things we post and places we take our children and all these things already. So to be a professional athlete in the spotlight and to have to deal with these things, I mean, they all admit, like Chelsea admits, this isn't the first time, this isn't an
mhm.
isolated incident. It had just gotten to be too much. It had gotten to be enough where you're just like, you
Yeah,
know what? I got to say something. I got to put this out there because it's just culminated to a point where it's no longer just something I can laugh off, something I can brush off and go about my day. Like people's safety is at stake. And
yeah,
so I applaud uh, the Las Vegas Aces for addressing it. The WNBA was a little late, but they stepped up to it to address it. I think just as much worry for the safety of one player should apply to all the players of the WNBA and the NBA and sports at large. These are public figures, but we are not entitled to
they're
their
people.
time.
They are
They're people,
people.
and
Yeah.
they deserve privacy, they deserve safety, and they deserve to, enjoy the fruits of their labor. They put themselves through a lot, their bodies through a lot. So um, I'm glad to hear that somebody hopefully will be. Well, I'm glad that somebody there was a little bit of a
Accountability.
yeah, there was some accountability there, but there should be even more. And I'm not just talking about from this guy. I'm just talking about
No.
in
Oh,
society.
100%. This
And
this is
yeah,
I'm gonna
sorry.
flip this around. I'm gonna start asking you a question here.
Okay.
So you talk about like the Aces made their statement, the WNBA was a little bit late. Um, how are you feeling about Kathy's commissionership of the WNBA? You think that
Mm.
I don't know what her contract status is, but do you think she's the person for this moment?
Yeah, there was a lot of questions on that too because she wasn't great about it. Um,
I think the other thing that I'm thinking about is there was a report this week that going back to Caitlin Clark and the Alyssa
mm,
Thomas situation that happened a few weeks ago, there was a report that Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, uh, told Kathy she needed to suspend Alyssa Thomas. She wasn't going
mm,
to, and then he stepped in and was like, "Hey, you really need to do this," and so then she did. And I know there's been a lot of questions about how she handles things. Like there's like allegations that she ducks interviews sometimes when things get hard, and you know. I think about players, some of the former players like Elena Deladon. I remember her saying, "I don't know if Kathy even knows I retired. I never heard from her."
mm.
And so I know there's a lot of back and forth like that, but um, given the statement situation, the situation with maybe Adam Silver stepping in and being like, "Hey, there needs to be some discipline here." All of these things combined, like, what do you think? Do you think she's the person for the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's the commissioner, so it definitely should have been her call.
Hmm.
Maybe take Adam's advice into take it into advisement, I guess. But it ultimately should be her call. She should know what's going on just in general. I can understand what happens when you get to the top, like you're just so far removed from the day to day that a player goes through. And so obviously you can't feed into everything. But like you said, like with the Caitlin Clark stuff and the Alyssa Thomas stuff, I mean, that was made out to be such a big deal, and it's like nobody was hurt. I mean, I'm just saying. It was a game. It was part of the game. This is not part of the game. This is like an outside
Right.
situation. And so therefore, yes, I believe that she should be much more hands-on and much more in defense of her players, every single player, no matter what. And it should be unrefutable or irrefutable as far as like her position on it. Like there just shouldn't be any waffling. There shouldn't be any maybes. Like she definitely should come out and say something. This is her league. Like this is what it is. And if she's not prepared, with statements after 24 hours of something like this happening, then maybe she isn't the right person for the job. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm not calling anybody out, as to say. It's just this is the job, and you do have to make those tough calls, and we can't defer to Adam for everything. Like we just can't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just my opinion. But I feel like we need to stand on our own. We are our own league.
Yeah.
So, but it was addressed, and we appreciate that nonetheless. And then the SB Awards were this past week, and our girl Asia won 2 awards that she had already run in the past. But a win is a win.
Keep filling up that trophy cabinet.
Trophy case, exactly. So she won Best WNBA Player again, as well as Best Athlete Women's Sports. So she actually wasn't at the awards to accept, but I assume she was just resting and getting ready for the things that she has to do. But we are proud of her.
They got to travel from here to Canada. I need her to be.
Oh, okay, yeah. She's got to rest. She's got to get it together. Yeah. So we're good. We're proud of her always. They did not win for best team, but that went to the New York Knicks, which, I mean, come on, like that was going to happen. I mean, there's no refuting that one. Not this year, buddy.
Okay, what's our next topic?
All right. So the next thing that's happening, super fun, is that the WNBA is getting into reality television, which, and I love it. I freaking love it. So there is a new show called Life of the W that is going to be coming out. I think it's just like 3 players at the moment, but we don't know. Like,
yeah.
We haven't.
No, it's they've got it slated to follow Nafisa Collier, Asia Wilson, and DeWanna Bonner, and it's following them through last season.
Okay.
And so, following the 3 of them, it's a 6-part docu-series. So yeah, it should be really interesting. It premieres on July 24th. I'm into it. I think it'll be a really interesting thing. I think it's such an interesting moment in women's sports, and so seeing how these 3 players navigate all of that will be really interesting. Asia Wilson and Nafisa Collier are probably they're perennial MVP candidates. Like obviously Nafisa Collier hasn't played yet this year, but last year she was on track to be in the MVP conversation. Like she was actually leading the MVP conversation early in the season. And so seeing last season through their perspectives there, I think will be really interesting. And then DeWanna Bonner, she's a legend in this game, been around a long time. So yeah, I think it'll be a really interesting thing. See, what it looks like from their perspective to both on and off the court to live through this moment.
Yeah. And, I have the idea. I mean, maybe it's not my idea. I'm sure I'm not the only person to think about, these boyfriends getting flew out. I mean, we need to get into that level of reality WNBA. That's where I'm trying to go because, look, the real basketball husbands, basketball boyfriends, whatever you want to call it, Kevin Hart, Drewski, whoever, do it. But yes, that's gonna be great. And then to top it all off, the Aces were featured in the She Weekend, which is happening right now in Las Vegas with Flavor Flav. So, it all started as a tweet during the Winter Olympics, and the men's hockey team got invited to the White House, and there was this weird phone call, and they kind of got slighted, oh, maybe we'll invite them too, the women too. And the women actually won first. So Flavor Flav, he saw that, tweeted, I want to do something for the women's hockey team, and now it's basically turned into this huge movement, and they're all out here in Vegas this weekend getting pampered and treated well, shows and flights and restaurants and clubs. So we're super proud, we're super happy that women's sports is finally getting its just due. There was a parade, y'all. It was amazing. I was out there. Yes, I was out there, but I was working. Okay. And it was beautiful. There were moments of emotion where you're just like, listen, like the little girls are watching, and it was very sweet, and it was something to see. So if you have any time this weekend, you might, I mean, if you're out, you might see an Olympian. So just be ready.
There you go. I think it's really cool that Flav has been doing this. Like he in 2024, I think he sponsored both the men's and women's water polo teams in the 2024 Olympics.
Oh yes, exactly.
And so like, I think it's really cool that he like sees these opportunities and like he recognizes the value. Like we see him over at the Aces games a lot. And so yeah, I think that it's a really cool thing for him to be doing, using the platform that he has to help raise up others. And like if you can't get to the White House, you can get on the Vegas Strip, and get your recognition there. I think that was a really cool thing for him to do. I think it's cool how, the Las Vegas Visitors Authority has been plugging into that and, helping support that. So I think it's a really cool thing for our city to be doing. So shout out to all the Olympians.
Oh yeah, our internet's getting a little weird, but it's all good. It's all good. I think you got it out there. So since the internet's getting weird, guys, we're just gonna go. This was an amazing kind of recap session. Because so much be going on, y'all. Like, it's an amazing time in sports in general, but it's definitely an amazing time in women's sports, and we are very lucky and fortunate to be able to watch the amazing women of the Aces in the WNBA every single week and cheer them on because they're the best. And we will continue. And so
next time we come back, we'll talk about the All-Star game. Crystal, don't be yelling at me about getting content out there. I'll be enjoying myself.
Just go live a little bit. We're going to talk him into it. We're going to get him there. But thank you all for joining us for this 6th episode of Aces Full of Queens. And join us for after the All-Star game. And we'll give you a little recap, plus whatever else has been going on. Because, every day in the W is a day, I won't say full of drama, but full of something. Full of good times.
I didn't know where that sentence was going to end. So I was on the edge of my seat.
Every day in the W is a day to win. All right. How about that?
Boom.
And we love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.